The intensity of the fight escalates. As the system scans the combatants, observers can't help but comment on how the quest is really heating up. Inferred, the action here is all too real as a heavy blow lands with a resounding punch. The fight continues with brutal impact, each collision between the combatants accompanied by the raw sounds of a wham and a follow-up pow. A final, crushing whack leaves the opponent stumbling in total defeat. Watching the display, the bystanders are left in disbelief, stammering, "Is this for real?" The sheer power behind the strikes leaves them stunned as they can only mutter, "Unbelievable!" and "Whoa!" in shock at the sudden turn of events. The onlookers are completely floored, unable to fathom how someone could throw so many punches in a row like that. The rapid-fire sequence of hits, each accompanied by a jarring wham, a sharp pow, and a heavy pound, leaves the crowd reeling as they exclaim that they've never seen anyone fight with such relentless efficiency. The onlookers continue to jeer, mocking the protagonist by laughing and shouting that his clumsy strikes look like he's stuck in a slap fight. He cries out in frustration as he struggles to land his hits, determined to push through the mockery. Gritting his teeth, he pushes himself to the limit, thinking to himself that he just needs to keep going and land one more hit. With intense focus, he whispers, "Come on, just a bit more." 7 hours ago, Dowan Ha was just an ordinary student, rummaging through his room while distracted by his headphones, frantically wondering to himself, "Let's see, where did I put the key?" The system notification flares into existence. The monster Manhwa has been defeated. As a quest completion reward, a silver key is awarded, clattering onto the floor. It is the ultimate prize derived from the challenge of bringing down Manhwa, and finally, he secures the silver key. With a triumphant ding, the system displays the item details for the silver key. It is classified as a hero item, and the interface clarifies that this key has a specific function. It can unlock passive skills that are currently locked in a character. Dowan Ha stares at the interface, thinking, "Nice. So this one can open." He hovers the key over the skill menu, wondering if he should push it to reveal the secrets hidden behind the question marks. A sudden flash of light consumes the room, and Dowan Ha feels the energy shift as the system cools down from its intensity. A sharp, digital ding rings out as the interface confirms a job-specific passive skill has been successfully unlocked. The skill is titled Critical Hit. It requires no mana to function, but it carries a 1% chance for any attack to nullify enemy defenses and register as a devastating critical hit. He pauses, wondering if such a low probability is worth the hype. Critical hit. Dowan contemplates the power of the ability, realizing that it's not just about a critical strike, it effectively renders the opponent's defenses useless. This is perfect for me, since it's a passive skill with no mana needed, but... He muses, though he notes the name of the skill is written in a strange, glitchy text format. Dowan is visibly frustrated, pacing his room while recalling his past failures. "Last time, I was given a skill I couldn't even use because I didn't have enough MP, he complains to himself. Why am I getting such near-useless skills? I had forgotten about this one because I thought it was worthless, but I don't have any other way to make a critical attack now." He stares into the void of the training space, gritting his teeth in frustration. "I have no choice but to resort to Operation Flail non-stop," he shouts, preparing to embrace the reality of his limited options. Nearby, his onlookers are losing their composure. They point and laugh at his desperate flurry of movements, one of them chuckling, "That's hilarious. Ha ha ha." Dowan keeps pushing, his sweat flying as he maintains his relentless assault, calculating, "It'll surely work if I continue to hit him," as the counter climbs through 73, 74. His opponent is caught off guard, and Dowan seizes the momentum. "I'm lightning fast, aren't I? You can't see my fist, can you?" he taunts, landing a solid punch. His dazed opponent stammers, "W what the hell is this?" while the internal counter hits 85, 86. The battle rages on, with Dowan thinking, "Isn't it about time for it to work now?" The opponent, utterly bewildered, cries out, "Are you kidding?" as Dowan lands another punishing blow. Even as the hit connects with a heavy wham, the count continues toward 96, with his opponent left wondering how to deal with this relentless, frantic assault. The counter creeps toward 99, and Dowan Ha can barely believe it's actually making him push this far. He stares down his opponent, determined to finish what he started, thinking that he's actually going to hit him 100 times. The momentum builds as he finally delivers the final, decisive tap to his opponent, ending his frantic flurry of strikes. Dowan is left breathless, his mind reeling as he wonders, what the hell are you doing? His internal struggle reminds him that in the world of games, chance is an extremely important factor to consider. The interface confirms that probability always gave everyone an equal opportunity to succeed, even when the system felt like it was shaking and trembling with every upgrade attempt. In a sudden flash of memory, a young woman in a B8 original shirt is startled, crying out in frustration, "F. I failed again." The memory shifts to a younger Dowan Ha in middle school, obsessed with the high of succeeding in games where real life offers no such guarantees. A classmate mocks him, asking if his parents know he spends all his English cram school tuition on boosts, only for Dowan to retort that he doesn't care, he's going to use his math tuition instead. He remains hooked, fully aware that users try their luck every single day. Still fixated on that high, his friend asks, "Do you think this is rigged?" But Dowan, lost in the cycle, replies that he's sure it'll work this time since he's failed enough to be due for a win. His friend warns him to be careful, reminding him that he'll be broke if he tries one more time, but a stubborn Dowan insists, "I'm telling you, it's gonna work this time." Dowan Ha stares at his screen, his frustration boiling over as yet another attempt to boost his stats is met with a harsh red notification, "Boost failed." The numbers flicker mockingly, 50-23, 40-25, 887, and various other stats hovering in the void. He can't help but snap, "I can't believe it. This game sucks." He knows that for all the frustration, the outcome is simply the system's way of ensuring that chance also disappoints everyone fairly. A sudden tension fills the air, dun as Dowan Ha finds himself locked in a desperate confrontation. Sweat beads on his forehead, and panic sets in as he wonders, "Neen? Why didn't it work? I hit him 100 times." Dowan Ha is yanked back to reality, his thoughts spiraling. Then theoretically, one of them should've, he starts to think, only for his opponent to interrupt with a cruel taunt, "What's the use of slapping away?" Dowan can only groan in pain, "Ugh." His opponent looms over him, dropping a cold, hard truth, "If you want to win a fight." Before Dowan can react, his opponent delivers a crushing blow that slams him into the ground. As he gasps for air, the taunting reminder echoes, "You've got to have a lethal move up your sleeve." Dowan lies broken and breathless, his vision swimming as he stares up at the sky, the reality of his failure pressing down on him. A heavy thud echoes through the space. The antagonist steps over him, calmly dusting off his clothes while saying, "I was wondering what you were planning since you came at me so confidently. Looks like it was all a bluff. I mean, even if you did have something up your sleeve." The gap between them feels insurmountable, as the bully recalls the effort he poured into his own transformation. "I shed blood, sweat, and tears to shape a 286 pounds lump of fat into this muscular body." He looks down at a battered Dowan with cold arrogance. "There's no way that you'll be able to leave a scratch on me." Dowan Ha's eyes narrow, a dark realization dawning on him. "That's right," he whispers, left to wonder what his next move could possibly be. Dowan Ha stares back, wide-eyed as the memories flood in, his mind reeling as he remembers the past. "Back in middle school, you were just a fat-ass douche." The bully looks taken aback, demanding to know if Dowan recognizes him and asking who he even is. Dowan retorts with cold clarity, "Of course you don't remember me. Punks like you never do." The truth is a weight, one that burns. Victims live the rest of their lives with the trauma, constantly reliving those painful moments. Dowan's face tightens with a bitter realization, his eyes burning as he adds, "But the bullies forget it all so easily." The bully pauses, humming in contemplation, before letting out a quiet shoot. "I spoke without thinking," as the weight of his own history sinks in. The bully brushes off the tension with an arrogant shrug, saying, "Too bad. I really don't remember," as Dowan pleads, "Don't come near me," while taking a cautious step back. Dowan loses his composure, shouting, "I said don't come near me," as he lashes out with a desperate, swishing kick to ward the bully off. The bully isn't fazed, catching the leg in a firm, effortless grab. "So what about it?" he sneers, completely unbothered by the resistance. With a casual, violent motion, he flings Dowan aside, sending him crashing into the surroundings.
Dowan lies broken on the floor amidst the debris, the sound of metal creaking under his weight, as his tormentor looms over him, mocking, "Aren't you the same?" The antagonist leans in, taunting Dowan with a chilling question: "Do you remember every single toy you used to play with when you were a kid?" Dowan, bruised and struggling, can only hear his name called out in a moment of desperate tension.
The tormentor dismissively commands him to give up. A question mark hangs in the air, a silent testament to the absolute hopelessness Dowan feels in this moment. Yunsong Han, the representative of Silim, stands detached and cold as he dismisses the spectacle, stating that anything more than this would just be a waste of his time. Dowan collapses, his body broken and spirit crushed. He has completely lost the will to fight. Trembling in the dirt, Dowan's internal monologue is a bitter realization: he was truly foolish for chasing that 1% chance of victory. As he forces himself to stand and stretch, the grim reality sets in: beating that monster is impossible. He realizes he hasn't fought in so long that his shoulders are cramped, and he never really had a chance to begin with. Caught in the center of the crowd, Dowan agonizes over his predicament. If he surrenders, he knows he'll just be beaten up by all the other punks here. He is left paralyzed by the thought: what is he supposed to do right now? Yunsong Han watches with unblinking indifference, declaring once more that the fight is already over. Yet, Dowan refuses to stay down, slamming his hand against the floor as he gasps, "Not yet." Dowan Ha refuses to let his spirit break despite his battered state, wheezing, "It's not over yet," while his surroundings erupt in bewildered murmurs. The opposition gazes down at him with icy detachment, mocking his persistence. "Wow, you don't give up easily, huh?" they sneer, asking him, "Aren't you tired of the same thing happening again and again?" Witnessing the brutal standoff, the onlookers exchange nervous glances. One voice from the crowd can barely whisper a panicked "wait." Dowan Ha keeps his gaze locked forward, his face bruised and sweat-stained as he focuses his resolve. A tense silence hangs in the air as Dowan Ha stands his ground, staring down his opponent in the center of the hall. Dowan Ha attempts to diffuse the overwhelming tension, forcing a strained, sweat-beaded smile as he mutters, "See, come to think of it, we were pretty close in middle school." His opponent doesn't buy the act for a second, cracking his knuckles with a sharp sound and retorting, "What? Didn't you just say that I used to be a fat-ass douche?" Dowan Ha continues to sweat bullets, his grin wobbling as he tries to play it off, stuttering, "Friends poke fun at each other. Come on, haha." In an attempt to maneuver, Dowan Ha shifts his stance, but his foot slips on the discarded jacket on the floor. His eyes widen in sheer terror as his balance fails completely, his world tilting upside down as he collapses. As Dowan Ha loses his footing, he reaches out in a desperate, frantic attempt to steady himself against Si-Hun Kang. His hand makes an accidental, light tap against Si-Hun Kang's chest, a seemingly clumsy gesture that carries an unexpected weight. Instantly, a massive blast of force erupts from the point of contact, tearing through the air with explosive intensity. The sheer impact sends Si-Hun Kang spiraling backward, his body tumbling helplessly as he is launched through the space. He remains airborne, caught in the devastating momentum of the strike, before he is propelled toward the nearby lockers. With a thunderous crash, Si-Hun Kang slams into the metal lockers, the impact buckling the frame upon contact. Dowan Ha slumps to the floor, stunned and breathless, while an ominous creaking sound echoes from the dented lockers. The onlookers are thrown into a state of chaotic clamor, murmurs erupt as they demand to know what just happened and how Si-Hun was sent flying. Erin Ju watches the scene unfold, her expression reflecting a mix of shock and utter disbelief at the display of raw power. The tension peaks as others nearby scramble, exclaiming in awe and confusion that the display was nothing short of amazing. A system window reveals the mechanics behind the move. It is about focusing all of one's energy into the palm and transferring that force into the opponent's body. It is a devastating secret martial arts technique capable of shattering both bones and organs. Dowan Ha executes the dragon push with a powerful blast of energy, but the reality of the situation hits him as he realizes that simply knowing the theory is not enough to guarantee success. A system notification pulses with vibrant blue light, confirming the result: the critical hit was effective. Dowan Ha stands there, panting heavily from the exertion, his face marked by the intensity of the struggle as the system's confirmation reinforces the impact of his strike. Si-Hun Kang lets out a pained cry, hunched over from the devastating force of the impact, while Dowan Ha watches him with a mixture of caution and curiosity. Si-hoon Kong stares at Dowan Ha in disbelief, struggling to process the sudden shift in power. He wonders aloud how someone who pretended to be so weak could possibly possess this kind of strength. Si-hoon Kong, teeth gritted and eyes burning with rage, demands to know if Dowan Ha is messing with him, vowing that he is dead meat and that he will finish him right here and now. The onlookers murmur, mocking the shaking Dowan Ha and assuming he is finished, yet one observer pauses, struck by something off. Dowan Ha is not just shaking, he is smiling. The smile on Dowan Ha's face is eerie, a sharp contrast to the trembling fear everyone expected to see, leaving those watching completely unsettled by his strange reaction. The scene shifts to an empty internet cafe, the quiet rows of monitors serving as a stark reminder that in this world, despair treats everyone equally. Dowan Ha sits frozen in the dim light of the internet cafe, his mind echoing with the system's cold truth that most users eventually just get a taste of failure. A companion leans in, frantic and reaching out, demanding to know if Dowan is still alive after his sudden, unsettling lapse into silence. The companion urges him to leave, coldly advising that if he hasn't received a power boost after spending so much, he should simply accept that today isn't his day and give up. A sudden notification chime breaks the air as a world message flashes. A player has succeeded in upgrading a Saint Imperial item to stage 25. Dowan stares, stunned that anyone could actually pull off such a feat. Dowan trembles as a realization washes over him: if others can defy the odds, he has no excuse to fail. His conviction begins to harden. With a wild, desperate grin, Dowan realizes he still has his Korean cram school tuition money, his final resource, and decides to gamble it all on the next upgrade. His fingers move with frantic, rhythmic speed, tapping against the screen in a desperate attempt to force a success. The pressure boils over into a primal, guttural roar as Dowan lunges forward, pouring every ounce of his remaining drive into the screen.